Warhammer 40K looks impossible from the outside until you realize you don't need a giant army, a perfect paint job, and a rulebook library to start this wonderful game. From the outside, it looks like a hobby built for people with unlimited money, unlimited time, and a PhD in tiny plastic soldiers. See armies, rules, paint, terrain, books, and edition talk, and it feels like you're already behind before you even buy your first model. Don't worry, you're not. This video, we're going to give you a clean starting point. By the end of it, you'll know exactly what Warhammer 40K is, how to pick your first army, what you really need to start, how the game works, at a beginner level for you, and whether it makes sense to start now or wait a couple months for 11th edition to roll out. Quick timeline note so you stay accurate. This guide is current as of March 2nd, 2026, with 10th edition still current, and the new edition talk is exactly why a lot of players are searching right now. So let's cut through all the noise and start with the part that makes everything else easier. What is Warhammer 40K actually? At its core, Warhammer 40K is a tabletop miniatures war game set in a massive sci-fi universe where everyone is angry and peace was clearly never an option. You collect an army of miniatures, build them, usually paint them, and use them in games with mission, rules, and dice. That's the simple version for you. The reason 40K feels so huge is because it's not just one hobby. It's basically a handful of hobbies connected together. You have the lore side. There's tons of books to dig into. Then we have the hobby side. The painting the miniatures, the building the miniatures, the building the terrain. And then we have the tabletop side, the casual players, or the competitive scene. Some people love the setting and stories. Some people love building and painting, and some just want to throw dice and outplay someone across the table. They're all perfectly great options. And here's the part most beginners need to hear. You don't need to master all three on day one. You can start because you think an army looks cool. You can start because a friend got you interested. You can start because you watched one battle report and thought, yeah, I want him. That matters because a lot of people talk themselves out of starting because it looks too big. They think they need to know every faction, every rule, and every paint technique before they buy anything. You don't need to be a lore expert, a pro painter, and a tournament player just to begin this wonderful hobby. You need one solid first step. And the biggest first step is picking your army. How do you pick your first army? You got quite a few different choices you could pick. This is the decision that decides whether you stick with the hobby or end up with one of those unopened boxes staring at you from a shelf like a tiny plastic gilt trophy. Your first army affects your motivation. How much fun you have building and painting, how fast you learn, and whether you keep going after the first couple weeks. A lot of new players ask, what is the best army? Well, that usually means what army gives you the best chance of not wasting money and quitting. That is a much better question, because the best first army for a beginner is usually not the one that's the hottest win rate of the month. It's not the meta army. It's the one you actually want to build and paint and put on the table. If you like your army, you are far more likely to keep going after the learning curve shows up. Start with the look. If you don't like how the models look, your motivation drops fast. Once it's time to clip, glue, and paint your model number 10, you don't need to be obsessed, but you do need to start looking at them and think, yep, those are my people. Then think about the fantasy and playstyle vibes. Do you want an elite super soldiers, swarms of big monsters, machines, sneaky units, psych weirdness? You do not need to know every rule yet, but you should know what kind of army fantasy sounds fun to you, because that's what carries you while you learn the game. Here's the trap. Picking by what the internet says is the strongest right now, because rules change, balance changes, additions change. The must-play army today can become tomorrow's why did I build this? And now you're frustrated with the hobby when the real problem was starting with a temporary meta pick. A better method is to shortlist 3 armies, just 3. More than that, and your brain turns into a browser with 27 tabs open and no plan on where to start. Compare those 3 by look, vibe, and model count, because all 3 of those matter. And how easily it feels to picture yourself actually painting them. And yes, model count matters for beginners. Fewer models can feel easier to start because you can get something built and painted faster. But if you love the look of a horde army, do not force yourself into an elite army just because someone online called it more beginner efficient. This matters because your first goal is not to optimize everything. Your first goal is momentum. Pick an army you generally like, and you are way more likely to build your first squad, paint your first models, and actually play a game instead of months researching the meta picks right now. Once you have your army picked, the next big thing that scares people is the hobby side. And honestly, fair, because the internet can make it look like your first model needs to belong in a museum. It don't though. So let's dive into the hobby side. Building miniatures is a small step of repetitive steps. You clip parts off the sprue, clean them up, and glue them together. That's it. You'll improve quickly, and your first models do not need to be perfect to be playable or fun. For basic building, you're usually looking at a few core tools: your clippers, your glue, and something for cleanup like a hobby knife or a mold line remover. Be careful with hobby knives. There are easier ways to prove your commitment than offering blood to the blood god. Painting is the next wall for a lot of beginners because they compare their first models to someone who's been painting for 10 years. You don't need a giant paint collection to start. You need a primer, a few paints, a brush, water, and enough patience to finish one model before buying 6 more boxes. And your first painted model, it probably won't look amazing. Good, that means you started. Everyone has a first mini, and the most first minis look like they fought bravely against gravity and a bad brush control. And that matters because beginners often delay the fun part, trying to prepare perfectly. They spend weeks researching the best paints, the tools, and actually never paint anything. Paint the first squad. Learn by doing. Your second squad will already look better. Well, let's dive into terrain, because this is another thing that looks huge barrier from the outside. Terrain is a big part of what makes Warhammer 40K look and feel like 40K. And it matters in gameplay because it affects movement, line of sight, positioning. But you do not need a full tournament table in your house to start learning the game. If you're playing at a local store, club, or with friends, terrain is often already there. If you're playing at home, simple terrain works while you learn. The key point is this: terrain matters in 40K, but a perfect battlefield is not a day one requirement. This is what makes 40K feel a lot less intimidating. If this is making Warhammer 40K feel a lot less intimidating, subscribe. I make beginner-friendly Warhammer content like this so you can start smart, avoid expensive mistakes, and actually enjoy the hobby instead of getting overwhelmed by it. Not that the hobby side feels more manageable. Let's clear things up. Let's clear up the next big confusion point: what you actually need to play versus what can wait. This is where a lot of beginners spend too much money way too early. To start playing, you need a few basics: your models, some dice, a way to measure distance, and access to the current rules you need for your games. And that's the foundation. Everything else lands somewhere between helpful and nice once you know you're committed to this game. This gets confusing because 40K has rules that support and game aids, and new players often assume they need all of that immediately. They buy a pile of books, cards, and accessories before they played one game, then feel overwhelmed because the first dice rule. That's not because they can't learn 40K, it's because they started with shopping instead of playing. Start with what gets you to the table. If a purchase helps you understand your army and play your next game, great. If it mostly makes your shelf look serious while you're still learning the basics, it can probably wait a little while. Also, rules and points can change over time, so always check official current download and updates when you're getting started. You do not need to become full-time rules tracker on day one. You just need to treat an old screenshot, random form reply, or I heard as the final answer. Things like objective markers, tokens, data cards, and reference aids can actually make games smoother. They're useful, but they support the game. They are not the game. And that brings us to the part most beginners really want to understand. What actually happens once you put your army on the table? At the beginner level, the easiest way to understand Warhammer 40K is this: it's a mission game. Yes, destroying enemy units matter, and yes, That is part of the fun, but the game is usually about scoring points through objectives and mission play, not just wiping the other player off the table. That matters because a lot of new players think the goal is simple: kill more stuff. And then they lose on points and feel confused. In 40K, you can be winning the fight and still losing the game. A game plays over rounds and turns, and your units will move, shoot, fight, and interact with objectives depending on the mission and your army. You do not need to memorize every step before the first game. What you need is a basic understanding of the flow and what your units are trying to do. Movement matters more than beginners think. Where you place a unit can decide whether it scores, survives, blocks a lane, or gets blasted because it stood in the open like it was posing for the box art. Learning how to measure and position will win you more games than trying to memorize every combo you see online. Then we have shooting and melee. They are the flashy parts, and they are fun for a reason. You get big rolls, clutch saves, and there's no way that just happened moments that make the tabletop game memorable. But those moments matter more when they connect back to the mission plan. This is why your first game should focus on learning, not proving anything. Learn how to move cleanly. Learn how ranges and line of sight work. Learn what units are good at. Learn how objectives force choices. You're not supposed to play like a tournament veteran in game 1. You're supposed to learn how your army feels, spot your mistakes, and know what you want to try next. That's the real progression in 40K. And once you understand what 40K is, it's another big question. Should you start now or wait until 11th edition? Here's the practical answer. If your goal is to start the hobby, learn the basics, pick an army, build models, and play games, start now. Those skills will transfer. Learning how to build, paint, measure, move, and think about objectives does not become useless because a new edition eventually arrives. Where you do want to be careful going all in on rule-specific purchases right now, because a major edition chain is officially confirmed and in your hands. If your plan is to buy a huge stack of books and every rules aid possible right now, it is fair to slow down and buy with intent. That's not waiting to start, that's just taking it slow right now, because all that stuff will be obsolete in a couple months. The best middle ground approach is simple. Start small now and stay flexible. Pick your army, build and paint a starting force, learn the core game concept, because that will not change. Play a few learning games, then if official edition change arrives, you adapt the rules side with a much stronger foundation than someone who waited and learned nothing. That matters because waiting can quietly turn into permanent waiting. I'll start next month becomes I'll start next release. I'll start once I know the meta. And suddenly a year passed and you still haven't played a game. If you're excited right now, use that. Hype is fuel. Just point it in the right direction. So if you want a simple version, here it is. This week, pick 3 armies you generally like the look and vibe of. Then choose one. Not forever. Not as the blood oaths of the Emperor. Just your first army so you can start learning this wonderful game. Get a small starting point for that army, not a mountain of boxes. Build a few models, paint your first squad or unit, then play a small learning game as soon as you can, even if you don't understand anything yet. Your goal in the first month is not to win every game. Your goal is to build, paint, learn, and get reps in on the table. If you do that, you're not behind, you're doing Warhammer the right way. So if Warhammer 40K has felt too big to start, now you've got a roadmap. You know what the hobby actually is, how to pick your first army, and what you need to begin this wonderful game. How the game works at a beginner level, and why you do not need perfect timing to get started. Start small. Learn the game in small chunks, and let the hobby grow with you. That is how people actually stick with 40K and don't get burnt out. If you want more beginner-friendly Warhammer that saves you time and money and confusion, hit subscribe. And next, watch my video on how to pick your first Warhammer 40K army, because that one decision can make you start way easier.